Your thoughts?
What? What?
Nice.
RiverBender.com, Roku TV, anywhere, everywhere you get your podcast. We don't have news today because we have such a busy show, and we are starting it off with friend of the show, Mayor of South Roxana, TJ Callahan. How are we doing, sir?
How you doing, CJ?
Fighting off the post-flurry weekend that we just went through, and then that weird influx of weather. It's like it's 70, and then it's 40, and then my sinuses are inflamed. But that's okay. Great conversation awaits today.
Works out great, and it messes up my fishing.
So how's everything going in South Roxana, TJ?
It is doing great. CJ, first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for getting me on the show. Before we even want to get started, I want to do a public announcement for if I created any animosity or if I need to apologize to anybody. I'm going to be the first one to say that I'm sorry for anything that I may have did or offended or, upset anybody.
Absolutely. And well, TJ, I guess the biggest question is let's talk about what that apology's for, because, a couple of weeks ago, we were sent an email that was pretty, in my opinion, I'll just say it was slanderous. And it had a lot of accusations in there about a potential, altercation that occurred at a meeting that wasn't sponsored by the city, correct?
The
village.
That is correct.
And can you take me through some of these things? Because, TJ, man, I've known you for quite a long time. And when I first read the email, I went, it doesn't add up. And then we were sent a video that, again, didn't really tie in any of the email that we were sent to what actually occurred. And so I just wanted to bring you on, TJ, and really talk about this, because small town communities like South Roxana, this could really debilitate the growth. And I figured, let's talk about this, let's get it out there, and let's see what the next horizon is.
Well, and you're exactly right. It's unfortunate that we have to deal with this. We already had a meeting. If you remember when you first interviewed me, it was like, oh my gosh, you're the mayor.
Right.
Get with me and tell me how things are going. And it's a challenge. It's so frustrating, me only being here, 5-6 months, how you can have 3 or 4 people try to really define your character that you're not even close of who you are. And, going again, you seen what was wrote about me.
Right.
Then I heard you got a video.
Yeah.
Did either one of them match up?
No, they didn't. And the reason being is, TJ, I'm one of the harshest critics of anybody, because I feel like, and I've always said this, if you're my friend, I'm going to hold you accountable. If
Absolutely.
I know you, I'm going to hold you accountable. And when I saw the headline and the first sentence in this, and I have it right here, the actions by our mayor on Sunday evening are not acceptable. I'm aware that he and others of you were gathered around 6 p.m. and they said that you stormed into the doors, letting the door slam, threw 2 business cards down, and sat down as everyone as a show of power, claiming that the individual that wrote this letter doesn't run the village.
No, and is not even on the board, right?
Yeah.
And going back to the video of what you see, I didn't barge in. You got to see firsthand.
Right.
I set my business cards down because I also explained to this individual, hey, I'll bring cards so people can come to talk to me. So it's just really, it saddens me.
Yeah.
I take ownership as being the mayor. Mm-hmm. Again, like I said, I want to apologize. But wanting to be a part of something and being asked to be a part of something, and then you go on this rampage that you've got video, and you even yourself, you're like, this ain't even correct. It's tough, right?
Right.
But with any small town, one of my visions and goal is, how do I keep making things better?
Right.
I can't focus on the negative. I can't focus when other places want to put this slander. I mean, it's slandering.
Yeah.
And misinformation out on me. So one of my biggest focuses is to create a positive atmosphere, address this situation, and know going forward that after today, I'm not going to even feed into all this negativity and drama. It's not right.
Well, absolutely. And then, I mean, another, thing that I didn't understand is the fact that, one of the most respected men in Madison County is Bob Coles.
Yes.
And I'll say that 100 times over. And whenever I was starting to read through this email and you see, these characterizations of your character and Mr. Cole's character, my initial thought was, this has got to be the first time anyone's ever heard of these accusations. And it amazes me that even a publication decided to run it without, really vetting the source. And I think that's what's important. And TJ, I'm going to ask you, because I envisioned this, reading this email, I saw it before the video came in. And I thought this was a jam-packed room of people that were ready to say goodbye, TJ, because everyone's ready for a new change. And, all of a sudden, here comes the marshal and the door opens up and then it's the mayor. Take me through what happened, because in the video, it's a short little, kind of a hidden camera. I can only see a couple of portions of it, but what I saw were a couple of, I don't know if they were Girl Scouts or kids running around, and then maybe 3 people sitting at a table.
Yeah, there was actually, if I had to, going back, I think there may have been 8. And there were kids, and just kind of going on that, they said kids were crying
Right.
and all this stuff. Did you hear any of that on the video?
No,
You know what I
no.
mean? And then after I leave, they want to call the cops. And that's one of the things that I will drive when we talk about Bob Coles and the vision. Bob has spent 30 years in this town making it. He's running for Madison County Board,
Right.
To try to make change and really start trying to put South Roxana on the map. So again, as part about being leadership and knowing that role, it's nice that he also had my back, and other people in the community that are seeing this, as well as you and other people going, this is far from who he is.
I do want to say something real quick, and that's because there was a comment that was made about, us not covering this story. Mm-hmm. There's a simple reason, and I really want to make this clear. If there was evidence, it doesn't matter who it is, and I'm someone who's by the book and always have been. That's why I don't have very many friends left anymore. We will run it. But again, there was no substantive information. Everything that was trying to be kind of shown wasn't shown in the video that showed evidence, and that's why we didn't run it. It has nothing to do with who I know or what goes on here. I have zero say in news in this company.
No,
Zero.
100%. And one of the things that I will tell you up front, CJ, that I can appreciate so much of you and your character, and this is where we're so together, is if it's BS, we're going to call BS.
Right.
If you're lying, we're going to call it what it is. You have a job to do, and for somebody to justify your character and say, well, you're not running it because they have connections to do whatever, that's so wrong. Right. That's so wrong. So it's a constant battle, right?
Well, and what I think is even the bigger issue here, TJ, is that, a lot of people don't realize the growth that South Roxana's had in the last couple of months. I mean, you're debt-free. You have the village has no debt.
None.
And what amazes me is that instead of let's keep progressing, we had the Senior Citizen Center groundbreaking and all these really cool things, this infighting gets you nowhere, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that? And what is your kind of direction on how you go forward when you have, in my opinion, a clique that is really starting to cause some major issues?
Yeah, so we have one rogue board member. This board member has created this with their little entourage, that you will say. And I'm going to say this, and this is why we're addressing it. One part about being a leader and having leadership is making sure that you can reach your goals within your board. I have the best board members you can imagine. I can. From Margaret to Tara to Tammy and Greg Adams, Anna, to Terry Chester, who just got on. we have got a great team. Unfortunately, we have one rogue board member who's part of this whole deal that wants to be mayor, that has to make so many challenges within our community that doesn't need to be.
Right. And another thing I wanted to ask you about, TJ, was this this Facebook group, because it seemed like, and there was a statement, I don't know who made it, but it almost was like an impersonator, you know, of the village. And I want your thoughts on this, because that's a serious situation.
It is. The rogue board member that I'm talking about did make a fake Facebook account, and that's funny that you know and you've seen it, as well as everybody else. That board member admitted to it, so for that I'll give credit. But the whole time that you were doing this, you downgraded me on my education. You downgraded me for having my PhD. You downgraded me. But you know what? Let's take me out of it.
Right.
When you downgrade the board and the board members that you're supposed to be representing, that the people voted for you, that's where I have an issue. That's where you step in as a leader and say, okay, enough is enough.
Right.
I'm not going to have this going on when we have so many great things in our community that can change and make a difference. I'm glad that you took ownership. I'm glad that you said, hey, I did this, but why?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Why do you want to completely downgrade the people that are trying to make a difference? That's what's tough, right?
Right. Well, and I got to ask you this too, because the fallout that can happen from something like this email, it's great. And it expands more than these Riverbender boundaries, and expands more than the township or the village. It expands more than the county. It goes over into St. Louis media. And I got to ask you, if folks reached out and you had to explain yourself on that too?
I did, yeah. So we had Channel 2, Channel 4 calling me, and just like yourself.
Yeah.
Show me the facts. Right?
Right.
And then when you get the facts, you're just like yourself. Hey, wait a minute. Don't add up.
Right.
Right? And so, but one of the, oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Keep going.
One of the things that I want to touch on, and we talk about social media, is this, CJ. Social media can be really great, and it can be really bad.
100%.
Think about this for 1 minute. We all just watched the Super Bowl. How many eyes were on the Super Bowl?
Tens of millions.
Tens of millions,
yeah.
Right? We're going through the Super Bowl, having a great time. Social media comes right in because Travis Kelce is just irate because he got taken out of the game for whatever reason, right? But what does he do? He comes over and he bumps Coach Reed, right? Like hits him. And instead of just letting that ride, they automatically hone in on the negative. They automatically hone in on, he touched him, he should be this. And all you see is on social media, on Facebook, and all these other things of how bad this guy is, and he should have never done this to the coach, and I can't believe he did this. Have you ever played in the Super Bowl?
No, I have not.
I know I've never played the Super Bowl.
That's a good point.
And what the point I'm getting at is, once Coach Reed got on this microphone and said, hey, listen, he was wanting to be in the game because he wanted to make a play. It had nothing to do, we're good. He bumped me, I was off balance. He addressed that situation.
Right.
Do you hear any more about it?
No. And that's the thing, because you're right. It wasn't about any of the things that Mahomes did in the game. It wasn't about any of the things the 49ers did. All it was that picture of Travis Kelce berating him.
And that's exactly it.
Right.
And that's where I'm so thankful for today. After today, I'm not addressing any more negativity. I had to go on and talk about this. I'm talking about our vision, our positive energy, what we have our focus on in the city of South Roxana. Amy Ellick, Erica Harris came down. I just got a $50,000 grant to put forward through. So, I've got so many great ideas, and the board is backing me. Fantastic people.
Yeah.
Really, fantastic people. And that is why I'm here. I want to show what we can accomplish in South Roxana. Bob Coles has gave his heart out. Like,
right.
I tear up because I mean, this guy cares so much, and he's just like me, so compassionate. And then you have these 4 or 5 people that just want to come in and like I told Bob, I said, stay positive and let's drive this. You know, I mean, you think about this going back when Terry Beasley was mayor, to Barb, right? Just going back to my era of where I remember.
Okay.
Maggie and Tara's been on this board forever, just trying to get this going. And here I come in 5 months in and I'm like, we're so close. Was I a part of this the whole time? Absolutely not.
No.
Them board members are what deserves the credit. The board members are what has the power, not the mayor. You know what I mean? I'm really, essentially, I'm just to be the peacekeeper, right? Like, they make all the decisions. But what I love about them so much is because I feel like South Roxana is the football team that's always made it to the playoffs.
Right.
But we've never won the Super Bowl. Now, I come in as the new coach, and when this community center comes up for our town, that is winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That is huge, right? And that is the vision, and that's kudos to every board member that's been on there, every mayor that's been on there. You know, Barb, everybody. I mean, everybody has had their hands in this pile, in this cookie jar. So I'm not going to say, hey, look at me, I take all the credit. Absolutely not. You're only as good as your team.
You're right.
And I have a great team.
And you're 100% right, TJ, and I want to talk about that here in a couple of seconds, but I just want to clarify one more thing, and that's the only question I had. So this was a citizens meeting. Were you invited to this meeting?
So the citizens didn't want me invited to the meeting,
okay,
but I was told where the meeting was at as a, hey, I'll be here if you want to come.
Okay.
So
it was.
Yes.
I get what you're saying with that.
Yes.
Okay.
But I will tell you this: the citizens that wasn't there, that told me about being there, the person that I interviewed with on Thursday also told me where it was there. I had numerous people tell me where this is at, the time, everything. Now, I had one person say, well, I'm not saying I wouldn't want you here, but I know the people there don't want you there. Wait a minute. I'm the mayor. I'm able to answer all the questions.
Right.
I'm able to be a part. I want to show you that I am available for everybody.
Right.
Then I come in and then this happens.
And that's a little bit fishy, and with that being said, I mean, was there any positive that came out of that meeting? I mean, because that is a question to ask. Was there some sort of silver lining whenever you're getting done with that meeting?
You heard the video. How
Yeah.
many times did I apologize?
Yeah.
Because I felt like I got slammed, right?
Yep.
So numerous times did I say, you heard it.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry. I left. So I can't tell you.
Okay.
What I will tell you is I will never focus on those individuals to hear third party. Every person that was at that meeting can come talk to me directly, and I will be able to answer the calls. It's no different than if I come to you and I say, man, CJ, I have all these problems and this and that and that and this, and then you take them to your boss. It's only for too long your boss is going to say, CJ, I don't want to hear what TJ has to say.
Right.
If TJ has an issue, he can come talk to me directly.
Right.
That's where we're at.
100%.
And I am the most, I mean, you've known me forever.
Yeah,
My door is completely open.
Well, and even if people disagree with you, I've noticed you have no issue talking to anybody. And I'm not saying that to patronize you because you're here. I mean, it really appalled me as somebody that worked with one of the best journalists ever in St. Louis that started the Riverfront Times. And I know how much work goes into gathering information. And it was just appalling. And I'll say that. The whole thing was appalling. And, I'm so glad you came on to clarify some of this, and I thank you for trusting me with telling this story, because this is a delicate situation that you never know could blow up if the if it's at a different interview or if it's said. And I really thank you for that. It's a lot of trust in that with the media.
I want to thank you personally as well. The biggest key from this, CJ, is if I was in the wrong and we were sitting right here, you would call me out.
I would. 100%.
I would never have a problem with that.
Right.
And that is what is so gratifying with me and what you do and why you're so successful. And because your vision and what you're doing and driving this, seeing it and really take on. If I made a mistake, as soon as I pulled in there, you'd be like, dude, you're going to take ownership.
Yep, we're going to talk about it today.
We're going to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But one of the greatest things that I can honestly say is God let you see both sides.
Yep,
100%. And God has got me in this position no matter what it is. And I'm gonna lead it to the fullest and trust in his vision each and every day till I figure out where my next steps are supposed to be.
Well, and with that being said, let's look towards greener pastures, because I'm pretty sure at this point, case closed on this. Let's move on and look and have it in the rearview mirror. What are some of the things coming down the pipeline in Roxana? Do you want to fill us in on some of the growth that you've had in South Roxana?
Yeah, so you've been seeing, so one of the great things I told Bob on to stay positive when I want to drive is I want to get local businesses.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Tyler Pitchford, I play drums at church at Metro, right? So we go to the same church. I want to look at how do we make a difference? How can I make a positive impact? Because social media is always negative, right?
Right.
So how do I show that positive impact going forward and hopefully drive other cities, right? One of the things was with Wyatt Owens.
Oh, yeah.
He has cancer.
Yeah.
Billy and I were firefighters together a long time ago. If anybody wants to donate to Wyatt's cause, please do that. And what's so weird is my buddy Matt Heath, who also runs Dog Nation over in St. Louis.
Okay.
They're doing a whole big hockey event for him. So it's weird how God puts so many different people, and then you think about, like, we played with Flip the Frog with
Right.
Cam Jansen down here, Cam, Reed Lowe, all the guys that were down there partying with us are a big part with Wyatt.
That's
You know
wonderful.
what I mean? So it's weird how that takes place. But going out, reaching out, we just had Owen, another kid from Roxana. This is probably one of the smartest kids.
Oh,
I've
okay.
ever-
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I mean, it was amazing what this guy's doing with 3D printer, right? I just meet this kid, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know your stepdaughter Emily, and I know Emily's boyfriend Donovan, And I'm like, the kid is just so in tune with what he wants to do in life. One of the most amazing kids. He made Bob this 3D thing, and it says Chief Coles, but. And you know what?
But I gotta find it here while you're talking. I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, you ought to see that.
We'll throw this on the screen here.
You should. This kid is phenomenal at what he's doing, and when you turn it, it does one or the other, right? And I'm like, man, this is amazing. Like what this kid does. Like he is just phenomenal at what he does with these 3D prints. It is simply amazing.
I gotta find this because we have time here. I just want to pull this up real quick because you're right. This was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Here we go,
Yeah.
right here. So let's go. We'll do a little bit of a screen share here.
Okay.
Let's see. On the scene. There you go. Look at that. I got to zoom in a little bit.
Now, when you turn it, see it says Chief?
Uh-huh.
Now, when you turn it, it'll say Coles. And I mean, dude, when he gives me this thing, and this is what I talk about with Bob, right?
Uh-huh.
Bob does so much for our community. This is where it really takes place with him and why I think he'd be so great with Madison County and doing stuff. The guy's on numerous boards, school boards, I mean, all these different boards. Don't get paid.
Right.
Just wants to enhance and try to make things better. He was actually taking that to the school board meeting, because it's like when you see him and this kid gets him this, it's like, wow. In Bob's office, when, we have issues going on with kids and stuff in different towns, just to see how he interacts with children and tries to drive that negative energy to positive. And sometimes it's hard, right? In our position. And that's why we started doing this, because it's like, hey, we can only control what's in our control, right?
Right.
That's all we can do. So let's take all this and start helping others and build them. That kid was so excited when he's like, I can't believe you're sharing this, and I'm like, buddy, you're gonna be something.
Yeah,
you know
no
what I mean?
kidding.
Just a super, super genuine kid. We're getting ready to get started with our Easter program.
Yep.
So the Easter program is coming up. I think it's March 24th, I think. that we're having an Easter egg hunt at South Roxana Village Hall. And then our biggest thing is I have that pavilion coming up at the park, and then in March we will be getting bids on getting the senior citizen center built.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and the first thing I told Bob too is I said I can't wait, because Terry Chester and I, Terry, he's played in numerous bands the same as me, and I said, dude, we're gonna do a huge DJ. Like, I'm gonna have every kid in there. We're gonna have food, just to be able to come in, and I just want to be able to really open up, because we don't have, like Alton. Alton has the YMCA. Alton,
right.
We don't have that.
Right.
My buddy Ryan does so much with the kids too, with the complex. It's South Roxana complex. It's a small gym that works out in there. He does so much with helping kids with batting and baseball and working out. And then he does like this fitness on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So Ryan is doing so much with that. So there is just so many great things that I love about our town, and that's really what I want to drive.
Well, and then one final thing for you that I love: you're debt free.
We are.
So you're actually, there is no debt.
We have none. All our squad cars are paid. I mean, we have no debt. That's the thing is. And then and one of the things I'm doing is, so after, because I'm running for mayor. If I do, I got these 2 buildings up. My next thing is how do I bring revenue into town, right?
Yeah.
How do there's infrastructure in certain places that I'm already looking into, working with the Madison County Transit, trying to get bike trail stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of areas of opportunity that I'm really driving, but what I don't want to do is try to do a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit, because you don't get anything done.
No, and it just sits empty.
It does, right? So I've been meeting with SJ. I'm trying to really get a vision and just trying to do little increments at a time. And then once we get those up, one of my biggest things I'm working, when I talked with Amy and Erica, how do I start building infrastructure? How do I start helping with the roads? What can I do to really start helping and trying to grow our community?
Well, and that's what I think is really exciting about this. And this is just an outsider's perspective. Get over it. It's really just from my perspective. South Roxana is really on the precipice of something really great, because you guys are really good. And this is just it's like you said, years of work and everything. But you're at this point where you're going to go from small town that's kind of catching up to excelling, and you're going to become a spot, because you have all these pieces of infrastructure, like that senior center, huge, and you have all these different pieces you're working on. Bike trails are a huge thing. Yeah. And all of those things are going to come in, and all of a sudden, South Roxana is going to be, an up-and-coming Godfrey when it started out. Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind.
Well, and what was so neat, too, so it's funny you brought that up. The lady, she stopped me. I had to drive the front loader.
Oh, okay.
And because we had a water leak, so I was helping the guys, and a lady stopped me and she goes, "Are you the mayor?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "I seen you out here working the last 2 hours on this front loader. I was just gonna stop and see what you would charge me. I didn't know if you were a contractor to help me go over here and move this log." And I said, "Not charging anything, man." So I finish up and we get done. And then the neighbor lady, she comes in, she goes, "You're the same guy that was, you and the police chief was out here cutting trees at 10:30 at night." And so, and that's what's great, is because I want to be able to get out and show our community of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Being able to take that vision and let it grow. We talk about leadership, right?
Right.
First thing you said, "Man, you had that empty seat. God bless Dwight Duke." How did you get Terry? What went on?
Right.
What did I tell you? I interviewed everybody the same questions. I let the board decide.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could have put anybody I wanted in that seat, but I'm only as good as my people. Mm-hmm. So when I fill out all the questions and I did all the interviews myself, you all decide, you pick. And I think a lot of them were like, "What?" Because why wouldn't I want somebody who's completely on my side to say that? Terry is a lot like you. He's going to call it out. If I do something wrong, he would call me out. I need that. I need that strong backbone to be able to enhance
Right.
our board. And it is, man.
Well,
it's a community to, like you said, keep growing and being bigger and bigger.
Well, and just on your point really briefly, you know, a team, no good team's made up of friends. A good team develops friendships, but you can't have friends a part of your team a lot of the time. And that's for anybody. I mean, you watch any baseball team play when their best friend joins the team and they're all slugging 230. You know, it's just, it happens. But just like this, it's no different. You have to have a good leadership, and you have to have it from all aspects and all walks of life. And really, I think it's there.
Yeah, it is. We have developed an awesome board, and I love the vision of our growth. Bob and his police officers, you know, do a fantastic job. Robin Doyle does so much with water, and her friend with Julie. It's crazy how much we get done with so many little people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they work so hard, and then Bob have his master's. I just got my PhD. Robin, I think she has her bachelor's. You know, you have 3 people that just have a little bit of education that can just drive and make something so successful.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It is fantastic.
Well, and TJ, I've talked to you for almost 30 minutes now. And is there anything, because I, like you said, I think case is closed. Let's look to greener pastures.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to hit on before I let you go?
Nope. I just want to thank you and the RiverBender, most importantly, for having the time spent with me. And just know that going forward, even if you see anything, I'm focusing on nothing but positive.
Yeah.
I want to be able to enhance South Roxana. I want to be able to create a vision for South Roxana. And I want to be able to create growth in South Roxana and really drive and put us where we need to be.
Right, absolutely. And TJ, like I said, thank you so much for your time and your trust in us to do this interview in an appropriate way, because I know that's always a little challenging whenever you're on the other side of the microphone. But seriously, the best of luck. I know that South Roxana's on to greener pastures, and anytime you want to fill us in on them, you're more than welcome to.
All right. Well, thank you.
No problem. We'll take a quick pause here on this Monday morning. Our daily show will continue after a few right here on RiverBender.com.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team.
We've got Joey.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with Falcommit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with Falcommit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit Falcommit.com and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nicello on RiverBender.com.
Long time. The touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out there.
Welcome back, 9:35, a little bit of change. Couple of minutes late for Rusty Wheat, but man, how that was an informative interview with TJ Callahan.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I followed a little bit about it, but it was very interesting listening to it.
Well, I just like it whenever the big channels in St. Louis reach out and I get the interview first. That's how I know I'm doing
hey,
pretty good.
I'm telling you, man, you've got it going on here. You're the buzz of the neighborhood.
Well, speaking of buzz, the last couple of weeks I've had on folks that are, as you know, running for county chairman. I've had folks running on for county board and other aspects, and trash is always well at the forefront front of their mind. How's everything going on that route, Rusty?
Hey, that's a compliment because I try to make sure that it's on the forefront of everybody's imagination. You know? Because you just take a drive. I met a gentleman at Belk Park not too long ago. He was from up north, and he asked me, he was a board member from up north, and they don't see this kind of amounts of traffic or trash. And he asked me, how come the board is allowing this to happen? And, I don't have any answers for that. I started this about a year ago. And I hate to be critical of the board. You might want to send your kids out of the room today. Because, but absolutely, in my mind, absolutely nothing has been done from the Madison County Board, starting from Kurt Prenzler. I know they've appropriated $100,000 here and there in different cleanups, but that's our money. I mean, I want them to go after the trucks. It's time. It's past time that we go after the trucks. Well,
and now I want to talk to you a little bit because you did a little bit of digging, and now the issue is, in terms of the trucking company, they're blaming their brokers for a lot of this.
Yeah, I've been corresponding with MBI, and they're trying to be somewhat good neighbors, but their hands are kind of tied too because they have brokers that are taking trash to the landfill, and they don't have the same tight constraints on those brokers.
Right.
They're MBI trucks. So what they've been doing recently to try and just put a curtail to this, they've been putting unmarked vehicles in different places to monitor the traffic and the trash flow.
Well, here's my thought on it, because to me it's no different than Amazon subcontracts all their delivery. I mean, pretty much a good portion of them are independent contractor, 1099.
Right.
They still have to be held responsible for that independent contractor if they tear up their yard. So, I mean, to me, writing language isn't that big of an issue.
Yeah, and what MBI is proposing that there's these violators, they're going to withhold their permit, so that'll basically withhold their opportunity to earn a living. And when these these drivers get tickets, it's pretty hefty fine from what I understand.
Really?
And Roxana has done a pretty good job lately. Previously they issued 0 tickets, and I think just recently, this past month or so, they've issued like up to 3 to 4 tickets. Well, Madison County has issued none.
Well, that's interesting in itself. And on top of that, Rusty, I mean, it's great that you're always following this, because this is an issue where if people stop talking about it, it'll become a non-issue, in my opinion, in terms of civil government, whether it's countywide or by township. You have to have someone that keeps pushing the issue on this, because it will fall away if you don't push.
Yeah, and when I started this, I kept telling everybody, this is a ball that's rolling, and I'm a 64-year-old man that out there picking up out their trash. Now, who wants to argue with that? You know what I mean? So I use that to my advantage, and I try to make sure that everybody's aware of it. I write to the board members once a week. I've written, maybe over the past year, I've written maybe 30 to 40 letters to the board members, pictures, document, and everything. Off my little stretch of road, I've picked up over 175 bags of trash. Me personally, off my little 1.7 mile stretch, and let's just talk about this for a second. Taxpayers' dollars, how much is being spent on that? The average person has no idea how much they're spending to pick up that trash. If you do crunch the numbers, it comes to about $35 to $40 a bag. And when you see those crews out there picking up trash along the road and those bags laying out there, that's costing us taxpayers about $35 to $40 a bag. So, you could crunch the numbers on that, and it's just astounding. Now, the Madison County, Christy Cliff's office has just awarded a contract out for under $100,000. They're going to start, I think, February 24th. They're going to start the first cleanup on 255.
Right.
They got another one scheduled in April 22nd, that week of April 22nd. And then they're going to have them, they're basically supposed to cut, they're supposed to pick up about 2 weeks before each cutting.
Okay. Now, was this a local company that's doing this, or are they just outside the area?
Unfortunately, we had a local company bid for that, but they lost that bid, and it went out to a Missouri firm. A Missouri firm is going to be out here picking up trash. And this is just what kills me. MBI is about 90% of this. MBI trucking puts about 90% of this trash down on the road. And then I know that has to go out for bid, but we had an outfit out of Missouri, so our taxpayers' dollars now are going to Missouri because they won the bid. And then I FOIA'd the bid, and from what I understand, there wasn't much difference. There's like a $200 difference. And I'm digging into some provisions.
And this is per day, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A price per day. From my understanding, the winning bid was something like $1,800, and the second bid was the local bid was like $2,000.
Oh.
And so it was extremely close. And for that amount of money, I started digging into it. And I think there is some provisions, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Believe me, I know that they're looking into it as much as I am.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm just curious about that because I know that was a highly talked about topic.
I wanted a local company to get that. I wanted my investment in this community to be reinvested in this community. Now it's going to a Missouri firm, and those guys that are working for that firm will probably take their money back and spend it in Missouri.
Right.
Where I feel like the local firm here, and I'm just going to mention her name. It was Sparks. Denise Sparks' outfit. I was hoping that she would get it because she's done so much for the community, and I believe there is provisions that would have allowed that to happen. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have bids.
Oh no, for sure, you need them.
Three legitimate bids.
Yeah,
but they've only had two. They only get really two legitimate bids, and one of them's out of state. So I don't like that. We're going to work on that. I highly recommend anybody that doesn't like that as well that do. Voice their concerns.
Now, with all this going on, I mean, we are exactly a month away from the primary. And I don't know, primary day is March the 19th, and today is February the 19th. And a month away, how many times a day does your phone call or your phone ring from different board members or different folks that are in this position running? Because, I mean, you are at the center of this trash issue.
I get a few calls once in a while. I mean, Matt King will call me. I get a nice letter from Jason Palermo. Your guest coming on soon, Paul, reaches out to me quite a bit. Mike Babcock and Chris Slusher have both volunteered for our Earth Day event coming up. So, yes, I do. But the majority of them I do not. And it's so disappointing because I didn't. In fact, my last letter I sent to them last week is I'm just astounded that they don't reach out to me for information. I'm out there every Thursday. Right. Every Thursday I'm out there, weather permitting, picking up trash.
Well, it makes no sense to me. I mean, it's like, to me, if like for instance, if we're talking about somebody in a homeless situation, I'm going to call the overnight warming location because they're hands-on and they talk to the unhoused and they know about the situations that are going on. I wouldn't talk to some average Joe that's you know what I'm saying? That's just my thought on it.
And believe me, I know Paul's going to say, "Oh, we did this and we do that," and Paul's one of the good guys that's really tried to help us out along with many of the others, but so many others that they live in other areas. And it's not a big concern for them.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe they live in Highland or something, but they're board members from Madison County as a whole, not just board members for Highland. You know, and it just drives me crazy. It's like take a drive down 255 and if you don't feel embarrassed, I'll take you to dinner. You know what I mean?
Well, it's amazing to me because I said it the last two interviews I had with the county chairman candidates is I compare it to Alton a lot of the times in Madison County. We have 7 wards. And 7 wards at Alton, that maybe 2 of them act like we're on the same page because we all have different ideas and we're all kind of pulling at different weights. And it's no different than countywide because we have all these wonderful towns that make up Madison County, but we're all kind of isolated, you know?
I get a lot of help from Marty Reynolds from the Roxana. And I know, let's don't, I know that they have an incentive. I think they received $1.6 million each year from the landfill. Madison County receives $1 million a year from it. But I've been talking to Captain Hernandez from Madison County Police Department. He's promised me that he's going to put a sincere effort into it. And I respect him a lot. I think he's a man of his word. And I view things in my opinion, we've missed an opportunity. As long as I've been working, this is my own personal opinion. Kurt Prenzler has not attacked the trucks. Mm-hmm. He's tried to satisfy the public by getting it cleaned up, which is admirable, but he has not attacked the trucks. Now, when I talked to Chris Slusher, his idea is he wants to attack the trucking firm and hold them responsible. And not that Kurt doesn't, but for whatever reason, I've given him about almost a year now, and he has not done that. Mm-hmm. So. I
get what you're saying. I mean,
it is frustrating.
Well, and these are your personal experiences too. I mean, you're actively trying to find a solution to this, and you're working with everyone you can, and it's great insight. Now,
I would challenge. I bet I've had more personal correspondence with the upper management from MBI than anybody on the Madison County Board.
100%. I think you're right. 100%.
I mean, I've got letters to back it up. I talk to the director of safety from MBI on a weekly basis. So I mean,
can I ask you about the next steps that you've been doing with this trash issue? Because there's trash that's coming off like a waterfall for these trucks, and you've resulted into now, instead of calling and just reporting, you're calling the emergency number.
Yeah, if I'm out there picking up trash, and what happens is I see these trucks go by, and they have about 6 to 8 foot streams of plastic hanging down on it. And I was thinking, if I was driving behind that and it was to fall off and impede my windshield, there's no way I could see anything. And that's pretty catastrophic to me. In my mind, it views the situation as an emergency. And so when I would call the police before, I'd say, hey, look, there's a trash truck that comes by here, and I view it dangerous. Not much would happen.
Right.
So I started calling 911. And when I dial 911 and call that, they have to send a police officer out, and they have to respond. They go to the landfill. I could pinpoint exact times when I saw it and the exact location. So their hands are kind of tied. And I know that's unfortunate. I don't want to take any resources away from 911. But the way I look at it, let's put some resources into trash preventing or more resources into 911. Mm-hmm. Something has to be done. And I told the officers what I'm doing, and there's really not a whole lot they could do. I mean, they may change things now. I don't know. But, I'm just going to use what I can. I'm going to do everything I can within the law to get this done.
Well, and I don't blame you, because you got to do something. And if you aren't getting your voice heard in one avenue, then you have to find a different one. Yeah, and I'm not going to fault you for that ever. I mean, it makes sense.
I find myself, I'm loading up bags of trash. I just got done the other day. I cleaned up. I was on there for 3 hours cleaning up my stretch, and a truck comes by and just shooting stuff all over the place. And this is when the ignorant Rusty kicks in. I hop in my car and I chase the truck down. I pull in front of him. I'm like, hey, do you know what you're doing? And he's like, yes, I do. And where do you go from there?
They acknowledge that they know that they're dumping trash everywhere?
Where do you go from there?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
No. I mean, these drivers, they are driving. They're not, they can't control the trash that's in them, and they got holes all over their nets and stuff. But somebody has given them the approval to go. You're good to go. And unfortunately, these drivers are the ones that are getting ticketed or paying the price. Sometimes they're not aware of the trash flying out. Oftentimes they are, but nothing they could do to prevent it.
Well, and the problem is, if they do know what's going out, I don't care who you aren't allowed to drive anymore.
Well, the bottom line is MBI has got to do a better job of securing the trash. The net system that they have on there is good if the nets are 100%. But if you have just a couple holes in those nets, man, you're going to get trash flying all over the place.
Could you imagine if somebody around here with their 3D printer really came up with something to change that? Because, I mean, honestly, all it takes is maybe a little addition to some current technology or some current resources, like a netting system that's a little bit upgraded, and then we can move forward.
Well, let me tell you, I'm a firm believer that we could fix this, because when I was out there picking up trash on a Thursday, I was talking to Bob Coles, the South Roxana police chief. He was standing there, and while we were talking, about 5 to 6 vehicles drove by that, in my mind, were out of compliance when I'm saying they had trash hanging all over the place, that they could have been issued a ticket while we were standing there. So I couldn't take a lot of pictures and stuff, but I did take a few of them. So I sent them to the MBI, and I said, hey, look, I just called 911 for the second time, and here's some pictures why. And the very next day, I told them my intent was to go out there and film the next day, as many vehicles. Yeah, I went out the next day, was out there for 3 hours, could not find a single truck out of compliance. Not a single one. And if you drive down 143 today, you'll notice it's pretty clean, and so they can prevent this from happening, and MBI knows it, and they want that to happen. So we're trying to work a situation together. We have to be patient and work together.
Do you have a moment to stick around?
Absolutely.
9:49, we'll take a quick break. Rusty Wheat, Chain Gang, we'll continue this conversation right after this.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, woman-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nicolussi on RiverBender.com.
Against the wind, we were running against the wind. We were young and strong, we were running against the wind.
We're just talking energy drinks. Welcome back at 9:52. I really do. That's like jet fuel, man. By the afternoon, I get shaky and everything. What is that called?
Let's
give him a plug.
This is it right here.
First Storm Energy. Look at that.
I like it a lot.
I'll be sure to bill you later for some cans.
Not as much caffeine, but it's very smooth and feels very refined.
So
I like it.
before we get back into Earth Day, because that's a big deal coming up, I want to talk about this $40 per bag that you were able to evaluate, because I mean that's just. I was listening and we were talking the last 20 minutes, but that number's kind of sticking with me because. You know, you have 100 bags of trash, which is really nothing on that corridor. At $40 a bag, that adds up.
Well, this was a $255. The last go around where Sharp had the bid. Sharp outfit out of St. Louis. I think it was named Sharp. They had the bid. What I did, I just broke down the total cost and the total amount of bags. One invoice was incomplete, but I had a pretty good idea based on the amount of hours. To the Hattie. So I've asked for a much more complete invoice next time because I FOIA all that information.
Well, and that's how much work does it? Because the folks don't realize at home, I think sometimes, and I wanted you to talk about this because you know better than anybody. I mean, you can really find the answers. In terms of FOIAing, how long does that process take? Because a lot of times the public always wants to find the answers, but they never actually FOIA to get those answers.
I don't know the exact time, but I think it's like 7 days or something. Like I FOIA'd that information on those bids. I wanted to find out how close the bids were from that St. Louis firm to Denise Sparks' firm. And I think I got it within 5 to 7 business days.
Incredible.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah. And there's an easy form to use on our Madison County government page, so I encourage everybody to. You know, don't want to do frivolous FOIA.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
That's what it's there for. I mean, too many times the politicians are using it, for all kinds of different things. You know, but
you can tell it's campaign season.
But yeah, on that trash, it's really like I said, it came up to a figure of about $40 a bag, and I could. Myself, when I'm bagging, I could do about 5 to 6 bags in 2 hours. So about 3 hours, three bags an hour maybe by myself. But when I'm talking about 255, the trash is everywhere, so they're not walking very far to pick up a bag.
Now I have a question. Are there times, because I could, this would be my frustration, and I've never asked you this question. It's almost like when I imagine you picking up trash, it's like it never ends. Like when you have like a glitter party or whatever, you have the 3-year-old over that your niece or your nephew, and they bring out the glitter or the slime, and the next day it won't stop. Like the wrapping, is that kind of how it is? Where it's just a mirage?
Crazy. I pick up those little streamers all the time, little bitty reflective pieces of tape or whatever. It's just
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, but I was driving the other day past your section, and because I never really go that way anymore because I kind of stay local and go back home because, Rusty, I'm getting to the point where I can't go out anymore because I don't want to be on the front page of my competitor, you know? And so I'm getting really good about that. But I was driving up your neck of the woods, and you can tell the difference. I mean, I saw the 255 exit, heading into Wood River. That was still a little rough. And then I get over to your section of road, and it's beautiful. And it's not because, oh, look, it's, brand new upgrades in terms of what it looks like in landscaping. It just picked up.
It looks like country roads and other communities.
Yeah, you're right.
It's what it used to look like. For God's sake, people forget what it used to look like before there was trash all over the place.
You're right, though.
It's like that guy was talking to you about that guy from up north. He couldn't believe it. And he's like, why did they Madison County board members allow that? And I have no idea. I just know I'm embarrassed as all hell about it, and it's just something we have got to get fixed. And I'm asking anyone that could listen, call your Madison County board members, call the Madison County Police, and demand that they put emphasis, and they're going to give you a bunch of jurisdictional stuff about
I like the censorship there, Rusty. That was
they're going
impressive.
to give you a bunch of stuff. Don't let anybody stop in your way. We can get this prevented. The thing is, not enough people complain, and when they do, they only complain one time.
That's
and let it go.
the problem. They let it go.
Yeah, they let it go.
That was what I was getting at earlier. I mean, it's not because you just complained once or raised an issue and you walked away. I mean, you're constantly on the fight.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop.
My Facebook page is just nothing but this particular issue with the trash. Now, I'm a member of the Roxana landfill committee, but those guys have a different issue than I do. They have to fight with the other things. My issue is I just want our roads cleaned up. Yeah. I just want to be able to be I don't want any embarrassment when people come out of town. With that said, I was contacted by the League of Women Voters. So I'm going to be going on some kind of format with them. They're going to ask me some questions and stuff. So
really cool.
My notoriety is getting around. I had a lady that saw me the other day, and she said, "Oh, I recognize your sign," and she pulled over.
Well,
and
the
talked.
best, I went into Quick Trip the other day, and everyone was talking about the interview I did with you. It was amazing. I saw what you did with Rusty. Coming up soon, Madison County Earth Day cleanup.
Yes,
Fill me in on this.
Earth Day is the week of April 22nd, but we're doing this year's cleanup on Saturday, April the 20th. I sent you guys a flyer.
Yep, we got it.
And so you could circulate it. And I've reached out to all the high schools. So if you have a high school student and you're listening to this, I've sent out flyers and contacted personally all the principals in the local high schools. I know that Wood River and Civic Memorial are expecting to send some people out, and I'm encouraging their parents to come with them. But April the 20th, I'll be back on here talking about it before then. In fact, I really wasn't going to talk too much about it, but I did want you to mark it down in your calendar because I've been writing to Senator Harris and Amy Elks and just about anybody I could think of that would want to participate in this event. And like I said, Chris Slusher and Mike Babcock are helping me. Allison Lamont helped me last year.
This would be perfect, too, for sports teams.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about a great opportunity because there's so many times coaches at high schools want to get some community community support going. Yeah. Perfect opportunity.
Oh, it's only about 3 hours.
Yeah.
But oftentimes I get so disgusted sometimes thinking, why am I even doing this, man? Just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to accomplish? What are we going to accomplish? I was talking to Chris DeCliff, and he's like, Russ, we're going to do the cleanup on there on the week April 22nd. And, but I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to send I don't want any more of our taxpayers' dollars being hired an outfit out of St. Louis to come up and clean up an outfit out of Chicago's trash. You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a great
I get so
point.
frustrated. I want my taxpayers' dollars reinvested in Madison County.
Well, and now, honestly, here's my question. If this becomes an issue on terms of bidding, do you think that you put it as a ballot measure? Because, you know, that way the voter has the choice on who gets this bid. Because, I mean, in all seriousness, if someone really was pushing this issue enough, you really could make this a ballot measure if it became that contested.
We just need to read the status. And I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand on the status, there's a provision for local residents on that bid. You know, so they have an opportunity. But I don't. There again, I don't want to get too much involved in this. But I will know more next time because I'm just starting to dig into this. And it's not about who I like or who I don't like. It's all about keeping my money in Madison County.
100%.
And we got to get this trash issue fixed. Last time your Kurt Prenzler was on here, he gave his telephone number, his cell phone number. So I wrote it down, and I'm asking anybody that can hear it to please give Kurt a call and see if we could get this situation resolved and let him know what your opinion is on attacking the truck.
Before Rusty, the only reason we're allowing this is because Kurt does give out his phone number.
Yeah,
he did it on this platform. Yeah, I just want to make sure we know that.
Absolutely. I mean, Kurt's worked with me on this. And I'm sure he would like to hear from you.
He would.
His number is 514-2599. And I suggest you call him and let him know what your feelings are on this. And you don't have to yell at it. And he hears that all the time. Yeah. But I think what he needs to know is that we have to attack the trucking firms.
Yeah.
Not just continue to spend our taxpayers' dollars cleaning up their mess.
And that's a great way to put it, Rusty. You don't call, and that's what amazes me in the world that we're living in today. You know, when someone starts making progress, they think, well, now I got to call and just raise hell. No. I mean, you can, but it doesn't.
With that said, I have a big apology for Rhonda Niles. She works at Chris Nicolussi office because I hung up on her the other day. I get so frustrated, you know, and that poor woman's just doing her job.
Right.
You know, but yeah, the frustration gets to me too. So I understand that if you want to call and raise 7 kinds of hell, do that, but get your point across first, then raise 7 kinds of hell.
Be respectful too. With that being said, Rusty, you know you're welcome back anytime. And when are you coming back on for Earth Day?
I'll be back in the month of March.
That's right.
I think March the 20th. We'll talk about some new
we
things.
set a date already, didn't we?
Yeah. And I want to talk a little more about MBI's efforts because I think they're trying to get this resolved too. Not as fast as we are, but
well, and it's pretty amazing though. It only gets a little bit resolved when you start saying, "I'm going to go out there and film all your trucks," and I'm going to start. You know, that's amazing how it just like magic. You know, you see zero violations.
I'm just totally frustrated with this whole system. I think the Madison County board members. When I first started this, I called them, and jokingly, I called them the worst board in the history of Madison County, and that was very unfair. But I wanted to prove me wrong. Let's get this thing fixed. Let's
Absolutely.
Get it fixed.
Well, and Rusty, you have no idea how much I appreciate your insights because this is, in my opinion, one of the biggest issues.
Anybody
in
has
the
any questions, call me. I mean, call me. You find the Chain Gang and call Rusty Weed on Facebook. Send me a message. I get reached out to by quite a few people, and I highly encourage you. Call Kurt. Call me. We'll see if we can get this fixed.
Absolutely. And before we take a quick break, Rusty, I don't know if you saw this, but we just started a new partnership with Centerstone. And the reason I'm really excited about this is I always feel like, you know, everyone goes through struggles in life, but the resources, you can't find them whenever the going gets tough. You need to know them a little bit ahead of time. And so our thought was with Centerstone, Rusty, let's talk about some of their substance use disorder treatment options, just in case we know someone in our family that could use the help. And I wanted to fill you in on a little bit of business. If you're looking for a fresh start on the road to recovery, a life free from addiction is truly possible, and it starts at Centerstone. Centerstone's a national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages. Now, with a commitment to delivering care that changes people's lives, this is what I like, Rusty. Centerstone's clinicians use evidence-based practices in their treatment program. So it's not that old, tried, and didn't work for 20 years program that everyone's kind of used to. This is all developed on the latest science. Your recovery care plan is. There's so many unknowns on the road to recovery, and one thing you can know for sure is that Centerstone will be that constant guiding force for you on your recovery journey. Addiction, folks, can happen to anyone, believe me, but so can recovery. Start working on your recovery today by visiting Centerstone online at recoverwithus.org, recoverwithus.org, or by calling 1-877-HOPE, 123.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nicolussi on RiverBender.com.
Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around. You can see me turning. Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around. You can see me turning. But I don't want to leave you lonely. You gotta make me
10:05, welcome back. Top of the hour news on this 19th day of February. Make sure you sign up for your daily email update where you can join myself and over 70,000 people in the know each and every day of the work week and on Saturdays with Around the Riverbend. We'll take you to Alton first. Sad news out of the city of Alton. My Just Desserts, a longtime restaurant in the city, will close its doors on March the 30th. My Just Desserts owner, Evelyn Campbell, issued this statement on Saturday, February the 17th, about the storefront's future. Here's the statement. After a lot of consideration, it is with deep sadness that we have made the decision to close our restaurant doors. We were very grateful that we were able to keep the legacy of our beloved owner alive since the time of her unfortunate passing. To our loyal customers, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all your support. We could not have made it this far without you. We ask that you continue to support us until our closing date of March the 30th. We are hoping that someone would want to continue to serve this great community and keep this staple in our amazing town. So if interested, please feel free to inquire within. Thank you again, and please come to visit us soon. We love you all. Sheila Goins, a frequent My Just Desserts patron and friend of Evelyn, said the closure of My Just Desserts is very sad to her. Here's her statement. I knew they had some challenges, and it broke my heart to hear they will not be able to continue. Yvonne Campbell, Evelyn's sister and previous My Just Desserts owner, died in a tragic vehicle crash on vacation in July of 2022. Evelyn Campbell said with her full-time nursing job, it has been difficult with the day-to-day responsibilities of running a restaurant. I am very much proud of the dedication of the staff, she said. We wouldn't be here without them. My sister owned the restaurant for about 5 years. The bond between my sister and workers was like they were family. Evelyn said anyone interested in carrying on My Just Desserts legacy should contact her at the restaurant before March the 30th. The phone number for My Just Desserts is 618-462-5881. Sydney Sinks reporting out of Wood River. The new Wood River Recreation Center is officially open. Wood River officials and community members celebrated the opening with a ribbon-cutting ceremony and open house on Saturday, February the 17th. Attendees could tour the facility and enjoy the basketball, volleyball, and pickleball courts, along with an indoor walking track, a gymnastics room, and much more. This project was always, in my mind, meant to be a very positive thing for Wood River and the surrounding communities, said Park and Recreation Director Jason Woody. We will provide over 40 part-time jobs, giving high school and college kids the chance to learn to work in a public setting and giving retirees an opportunity to stay in the workforce. The rec center will bring thousands of people to Wood River, and those folks will patronize local businesses and restaurants in the community. It will give our kids a sense of pride to have a place like this to keep them out of trouble and help kids stay on a path to success. Woody explained that 60% of the money that funded the rec center came from a 1% sales tax in the city of Wood River, which generated over $7 million for large-scale projects like the rec center. The rest of the money came from a $2.5 million park and recreation facility construction grant known as PARK through the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Wood River was one of 4 applicants that received the full $2.5 million from the park grant in 2019. Wood River Mayor Tom Stallcup thanked Jason Woody, the Assistant Park and Recreation Director, Pat Minigo, Recreation Supervisor Dixon Wong, and the rest of the department for their tireless efforts to build the new rec center. Woody encourages attendees to check out the new facility. The Recreation Center is located at 633 North Wood River Avenue in Wood River. For more information about the center or the Wood River Parks and Recreation Department as a whole, you can visit them online at wrparks.org. That's wrparks.org. Let's take a look at weather. Currently, it's 41 degrees, and that snow is starting to melt a little bit. I told you we were getting some on Friday. Coming up today, temperatures will reach 54 degrees, drop down to 25 overnight on Tuesday, a high of 58, a low of 35 on Wednesday, a high of 66, a low of 46 on Thursday, a 92% chance we're getting a downpour, a high of 56, a low of 36, and then on Friday, the 23rd, a high of 55, a low of 31. Temperatures today are going to creep up the dial, but today sunny to partly cloudy and not as cool as the weekend. Tonight, there's only one note, and that is it will be partly cloudy. Right now, the temperature's at 41 degrees. It feels like 49. Let's look at Skycam, huh? Look at downtown Alton. You can see the snow starting to melt off the buildings now as we're seeing the roads for the first time in a couple of days. Look at the sun shining down on Clark Bridge. A bunch of cars coming in and out of the city of Alton. You like to see that. Hopefully they're going to a local establishment to patronize them and support our local business community. For that Skycam, you can find it in real time all the time at RiverBender.com/weather. And for time and temperature throughout the day, you give this phone number a ring, 618-465-4545. This time powered by Tom Lane. He's your local State Farm agent. Man, Hainer Library did fantastic on Saturday. I had the chance, as you guys know, to go over to the Riverbend CEO Trivia Night fundraiser. I was the host or MC of the event. I had a great time with the group of students. They did a wonderful job, sold out the room. It was jam-packed in there. Mary Court is the executive director of Hainer Library, showing her commitment by bringing a table out, and they finished, I think, first or second place at Trivia Night. Well, I asked her, I said, Mary, how did everything go for the Lincoln letter? She said we were jam-packed. Over hundreds of people were there. It was wonderful, and I love to hear that you guys got out to support Hainer Library to see a once-in-a-lifetime artifact that represents the city of Alton. Make sure you get your library card because you can have that taste that you guys got on Saturday all the time when you get your library card from Hainer. It's free. All you have to do is go to HainerLibrary.org. That's HainerLibrary.org. Click on the How Do I tab. Once you do that, you'll see a drop down and then it'll say Get a Library Card. You click on that, you put your information in, and boom, taken care of. Library card, courtesy of Hainer, and all you have to do is thank me later. HainerLibrary.org. That's HainerLibrary.org. It's 10:12. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with more of our daily show on this Monday morning on RiverBender.com. Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
DJ Mike Keith.
This is where I am today. Let me show you where I started.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Arms are mine. They are lonely, lonely and fielding blue. These arms of mine.
Welcome back, 1017. You'll never understand what we were just. That's my favorite part about this, Paul. You know, they always go, "What are you saying off the air?" And I never really. That's for us to enjoy. I always tell people that's the better segment. Paul, you are currently a board member for Madison County, and you're representing the 23rd district, correct?
Yes, sir.
And now this is your first term in office.
Yes.
Correct. Take me through this first term. How's it been so far?
Wow.
Good starter question, huh?
The crash course in being an elected office. Let's say I got it pretty quick first couple months. Well, I'm obviously everybody knows it's kind of a volatile time in Madison County, especially in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
There's obviously two sides that are going at it all the time. You can listen to county board meetings. A lot of stuff's recorded on audio. A lot of it's a lot of conduct. It's, not why I got involved in politics. Just a lot of conduct I think is very unprofessional. It's not why our constituents sent us there.
Yeah.
They didn't send us out there to do personal grievances, or you got a problem with this person's friend, or this happened years ago.
I just never understood
so
the
we're going to
name
go
calling.
after you. There's a lot of important stuff in our county.
Yeah.
As a county board member, we watch over, a lot of spending. We can't legislate. We're not congressmen, women. We're not state reps.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we watch where, money's being spent. County employees, certain appointments for certain boards. It kind of make the county go around. It's more complex than a lot of people think, and we're not, whether people think we are. They think we're little Congress, like I said, members of Congress, but we're really not.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you first, because you're, now almost completed your first term in office as the board member. How frustrating is it at times, because you have these ideas and you're, kind of a little bit handcuffed by state legislature a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Is that a big learning curve whenever you get in the county board seat?
Yeah. You can do resolutions, certain things to bypass some of the stuff, but no, a lot of stuff's got to be changed in the state house. So yeah, that is frustrating, but you do what you can do, and then you communicate with your, state reps. And
Absolutely.
so my state reps, Katie Stewart, we're ideologically very far apart, so there's not a lot of communication. I have spoken to her, though. Nothing mean-spirited. We just opposite sides.
Right.
So you try to go to your state reps, and we do have some good state reps around here. So I think Amy Elk served this district, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a very good state
And she
rep.
does a wonderful job.
Very nice lady.
I wanted to ask you more about the Republican caucus a little bit, because we talked on the phone a little bit about
you talking about the conservative caucus?
Yes.
Okay.
If that's okay, because this is
Go
a little
for it.
bit confusing to
Yeah.
me, and I'm honest
Sure.
about what I don't know, so
Right.
I leave it. The floor is yours, Senator. Fill me in on the conservative caucus and how it's a little bit different.
Well, I'm glad you're shining light to the conservative caucus. The only really journalist to touch on it was Kelsey Landis about a year and a half ago out of St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and that was just kind of when we were getting the caucus started. We ran a lot of candidates in the primaries. In 2022, I think we went 5-1 against the Republican establishment. And then we moved 5 county board members over to the general, and then we helped clerk out Linda Andres for her campaign.
Really?
So yeah, we a lot of work. A lot of people might think it's neat. Oh, you're going against the system, and I'm like, yeah, all that stuff's fine, but there's a lot of work. We got to raise our own money, get our own mailers, come up with our own ideas, and being new and going against something very established, no matter what walk of life you're in, is very hard, let alone in politics.
Well, and now take me through this. So this is a different
Right.
spin. This is a different facet
Sure.
of the Republican Party of Madison County, correct?
Well, and here's the thing with the Republican Party. I really like a lot of people that I serve with, a lot of our precinct committee people. I'm part of the Collinsville Township. Republicans, great township. I interact with them good. We help each other. The rank and file, I think, is pretty good. I think the upper... Well, I know the upper level people in the Republican Party, people kind of run it, including Chairman Wesley. They're really not worried about conservative issues. Take, for instance, like a bunch of Republicans, elected officials, including Ray, our chairman, backed Mayor David Goins of Alton. Okay? That was what? 2-3 years ago. So the years kind of run together. I apologize, but so he's not a bad guy, but like ideologically, he's not a Republican. So why is the Republican Party getting behind this guy? And most people in the party didn't want to do it. They're really upset. So that's kind of when I started to notice a pattern here. I'm like, well, wow, some of these elected officials.
That's a good, but not to
Right.
cut you off, but
Sure.
that raised a lot of questions
Yeah.
because a lot, and I'm not taking shots at anybody today. I hope you realize that watching at home. But that was a question at the time
Sure.
of the 2021 election was, whoa, when did this happen here?
Right, and that was a big to-do, like
Yeah, it was.
especially with the Alton conservatives. They're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So, then I thought that was like a one-off deal. We gave Ray a talking to, like a lot of people who came to the Central Committee were unhappy with some of our elected officials. And that's kind of when as a precinct committeeman, I just kind of was starting to go to those here and there. So I'm like, well, okay, is this maybe just an isolated incident? And then I noticed a pattern over the years. And we'll circle back to this throughout our interview.
For sure.
That, man, it just seems like they don't care if they are a Democrat, if they have their values or not. They will just back them against another Republican just because they're not. Just because they're part of our group or they're not part of their club.
No, that's what I was going to ask. And you're
They don't have a problem. Like some establishment Republicans do not have a problem working with Democrats to beat other Republicans. That is a fact. So that's something we noticed in the caucus when we formed it in 2022. We're like, there's a lot of Republicans there, and there's a lot of Democrats who are coming to the Republican side, which I encourage.
Yeah.
But like a lot of them come and they run as Republicans, govern as Democrats. So, and my thing is too, I'll welcome you to our party if you're a Democrat. I'll even help you on your campaign. But what I don't think is good is like if you've been a Democrat, say, most of your life, up until a year or two ago, you don't run against an established, Republican who's got a good voting record. I just don't see that.
Well, and here's my question: Do you
Right.
do you think that folks are running as Republican only with the Republican R in front of them only because if you look at the
You gotta win.
statistics,
Yeah.
exactly. Do you think that has a lot to do with it?
I think that has a ton to do with
Okay.
it. If you look at the countywide races, the Democrats didn't even bother to field anybody.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll slate some people. I don't know.
Now, how does that work in terms of? I don't want to put you on the
Sure.
spot. I just
for it.
curious. In general, let's say there's no Democrat running in the primary for chairman. If how long does that party have to run a candidate in the general election if they don't primary?
I think it's around the summer.
Is it?
sometime.
That's what I
Yeah.
was curious about.
And they might have moved it back a little bit because in 2022 they had late primaries, which
Okay.
I like better for weather because I love to campaign, but weather's bad.
When it's 14 degrees
Yeah.
outside,
I campaigned Saturday, man. It was rough, but we got to do it. Time's wasting. So I think it's in the summer. I think if Kurt wins, most definitely they'll slate somebody. If Chris wins, I'm not sure.
In your viewpoint, to me, it seems like it's a pretty close race, right? I don't have a pulse on it, so I
Okay.
don't know. I just, from my gathering, it seems like half or kind of, it's a half and half.
I don't see it that way.
Okay.
And me and Treasurer Slusser, we have a good personal relationship. I talked to him a couple weeks ago about like trash. Our interactions with each other are good. Just to be honest with you, certain things about his tactics, real personal stuff.
Yeah.
And, really going to smear people sometimes. I don't think he needs to do that. I don't think really politicians in general need to do that. They need to talk about issues and, they did this bad, like from a policy standpoint,
Right.
not really go after them. And
Well, no, and I feel
Right.
the same. I've always,
Chairman Prenzler, for the most part, is pretty good about that, about not going there. But I think one of the taglines I see a lot of people saying who are supporting him, obviously I'm supporting Chairman Prenzler. Everybody knows that. They say vote Republican, vote Slusser. Isn't that redundant?
Yeah.
Why would you tell them? You're not going to tell me to vote Republican. I'm going to. So I think what they're trying to make a play, to get Democrats to grab Republican ballots because you can do that in the state of Illinois.
Right.
Because I think they know if it was just a normal year where Democrats got a lot of people in the primaries, just a straight up Republican primary, I don't think it'd be close. I think Kurt would win pretty convincingly. He's won 4
No, it's a good
countywide
point.
elections. So
That's a good point.
that's their strategy.
Yeah.
Nothing illegal about it.
No.
Is it ethical? Oh, man, that's where people say, maybe not. As a Republican, I just want to make sure I'm voting for a Republican. And that gets to the reason why we started the caucus.
Exactly. That was my follow-up. I'm glad. Yeah.
And then, I was appointed for an empty board seat in 2021. And, 2021 was a crazy year for me.
Yeah.
Like 2019 and 2021, those were the most game-changing years of my life. 2019, I had my C6 collapsed in my neck.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was,
Whoa.
I've done jiu-jitsu and various martial arts, good chunk of my life. And, it's caught up to me. I was almost 41. I went from benching 400 pounds and not being able to pick up 40 pounds. So yeah, I got my
That's
disc
a
replaced.
danger. I was in pro wrestling, and anytime you heard that one get thrown out for being ruptured, that's a nightmare. Terrible.
I got lucky. I listened to my doctor. I was very low key most of 2019. I got their surgery in April of 2019, and then I was good to go by the fall. I was doing good workouts. I was getting most of my physical size back. And then, obviously no more competitive martial arts. So I was getting old anyway.
Right.
I'll be 46 next month. I mean, there's a shelf life for combat sports.
That's very true.
Some have longer ones than others. So then 2020, obviously COVID happened. That was the most game-changing thing I think ever happened to America.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe we'll have to see. If World War II is pretty game-changing, but we're still feeling the effects and the damage of that. And that's why I decided to step it up more politically. I had more time. I wasn't, training a lot of jiu-jitsu. So I have more time to do it. And I said, plus our country's just completely wrecked right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They close schools, churches, restaurants, businesses, like the gyms, the martial arts places I've been training at over the years, like just closed.
Yeah.
It just happened like that.
Paul, people really got mad at me because they thought I was, on a different side of the coin here. And all I was
Right.
worried about were the kids that were abused at
Sure.
home that were forced to sit at home with their abuser because they couldn't
yeah.
have that safe spot in school. And so I get that. And I was the one that people just went after me for saying it. But it's like, we really
Sure.
didn't look after those vulnerable individuals like we should have during
No,
that time.
they were the least likely to get hurt by COVID, but they took the worst beating.
100%.
Can you imagine being 10? You're playing, Little League, and you can't do that anymore. You can't see your friends. If you don't wear a mask, you're going to kill your grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean, what we did, I think we're going to see the effects of that throughout life.
That's a good point.
We have all these mental issues now. I mean, just from the kids I was seeing at the school I train at, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, there's something going on here. This just isn't good. So I got involved, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole with COVID conspiracy theories.
Right.
I just didn't trust the shutdowns like that because certain things were open. It didn't make sense. And then 2020, they had all those riots, and then all of a sudden, you can get in large groups if it's the protest. Turned into
That's true.
riots,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
And it seemed like they were just kind of excused, and that kind of scared me. That was large scale violence and destruction.
100%,
That was just that nobody tried to stop.
Right.
It looked like some kind of warfare.
Yeah.
If you saw like those footage burning and violence and
True.
burning of buildings, it looked like, urban warfare.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's scary because, that horse is kind of out of the barn now. People did it once. Will they do it again? Let's hope not as
right.
a country. So I got heavily involved then. And then 2021, I came back to the stage after my neck injury. Wasn't sure if I could handle prep, getting your body fat.
Well, I'm sure, because that's a big, big undertaking.
Well, getting your body fat so low and getting your body dried out. I mean, when you do shows like that, you get so lean, especially on the elite pro level. It just changes your mind. It changes you as a person, kind of.
I bet.
Does having low body fat being,
Well, and your low
being
water
in a
intake
calorie
at that
deficit.
time, right?
No.
Oh,
no,
water intake's up?
Everybody does it differently.
Okay.
I figure water goes to fat, water goes to muscle. If I'm lean, I don't have much fat on my body. It's going to go to my muscles.
Interesting.
I don't pound a gallon of water before I get on stage, but I really don't change much up with my water.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, if someone might say I don't know what I'm doing, but that's fine. They have more than one way to skin
People
a cat.
say
as
that
they
to me all the time, But,
so I did a couple shows. I did really good. And then in October, I won the 2021 IBE Masters World Championship. That was a big deal. And at the time, I was going through the appointment process on the county board, and I got moved to Minnesota for work. I had to go help out a facility down there.
Oh.
So it was just like...
about a 14-hour drive,
Well, no, it was a plane ride. My company took care of me. It was actually kind of fun. I was gone 3 weeks. By the time the third week came, I was ready to go. But I went from Memphis next day to Minnesota, and I didn't get back home till like late October. So I was gone almost a month.
Interesting. Wow.
And Kurt, when he appointed me, I was like, well, Kurt, I'm not sure if I said, I'd love to be on a county board. I'm not sure if my voters would be receptive. I said, people tell me they want me to run for something all the time. So I got like 300 signatures. And that was in about 10 days because I had to go to Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
And Memphis. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a shoe-in because, I didn't really know a lot of people. I didn't do the behind-the-scenes political stuff, but I worked on signature drives. I worked on campaigns. Erica Harris, Chris Guy. Erica kind of talked me into going further with it.
Really cool.
Really, really nice person.
She's a great
really
state
sincere.
senator. Really great.
Great state senator just because she is. People love her sincerity. That's how she's always been. I've known her since high school. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but my appointment got blocked, and it was led by a group of Republicans, believe it or not.
Okay,
yeah.
Now this is interesting, and this ties into, I'm
Right.
sure, the conservative caucus again.
Sure.
But so you get your appointments. What was the reasoning they blocked your appointment?
It's untrue stuff. I'm not even going. I'm not going to give those out the light of day. It's just as I look back now, 2.5 years later, it's because Kurt appointed me.
Okay.
There's a pattern of them just blocking certain people because Kurt appoints them.
Okay.
No logic to it. We'll get more to that later. So, I was talking to Dwight Kay. I worked on his campaign, former state rep. Really impressive guy. Former CEO of Cassins. Just a really knowledgeable, smart, educated,
background.
lived life. Yeah. And I was talking to him and my friend Lee Wathen. He used to work for Prime America. He's the chief executive of the Conservative Caucus. They're like, we need to start a new group. They're like, guys like you aren't getting led into the Republican Party. I said, well, I want to run, but I'm going to run as a Republican. I'm very conservative. I have, you can look at my voting record. I have petition drives, whatever. I'm always down for the cause. But I was like, how can I go to the establishment when they basically told me to get lost? And they were really rude about it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So
you don't
I was
feel
like,
very
okay,
welcome
I guess
there,
I'll start my own thing. It took its own life. Like I said, I think we fielded a lot of candidates. Most of them won. And that's when things really got off the rails, I think, for the Republican Party in Madison County. They were kind of there anyway. It exploded after a lot of them lost their primaries. And the martial arts instructor told me when I was very young, he goes, someone's true character is shown in defeat, not in victory.
You're right.
So, and I lost, like everybody, you fight good competition, you'll lose. You just got to take it good.
Mm-hmm. You have to. You got to
even in bodybuilding, I thought maybe I got a bad call. I'm respectful. I shake hands. Go about your business, man. You go
100%.
Yeah.
That's what life's about.
But I think people just got unhinged because their friends lost.
Yep.
And the people who lost are, still angry about it. And this gets to a very controversial thing, probably the most controversial thing that's happened in the Republican Party and maybe ever. I don't know. They have to go back farther. Maybe you can find something. A group of Republicans and Democrats stripped Kurt of his powers.
I do remember that, yes.
And it was led by the guys who lost their election. One of the guys who lost not only their primary for the county board seat, but his precinct committeeman primary. He lost that too. They made him the pro tem. And he really went after Kurt, went after me. I wasn't even on the board yet. He was wanting revenge. That's all it was. And then he was a lame duck. He was out of there.
Yeah.
By November. So he did some things. And I thought, okay, maybe, no one agrees with these. Even the other side, I said, maybe this will be a cathartic moment. And, we'll get together. We'll start to govern. Maybe okay, it's gone too far. I was wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
no,
you're right.
I was wrong. The first month, December, real combative. And then when we did the vote to give Kurt his powers back, we had 10 Republicans vote for him. We'd have 11 now. We have a new board member, Frank Dickerson. Maybe more would have buyer's remorse. And 8 went with the Democrats. So the majority of Republicans on the board wanted to give Kurt his powers.
Now, here's my question, because, I'm not trying to nationalize this, but it kind of had, because at the national level, you have a very fine group, I mean numbers-wise, fine isn't small, a very small group of Republicans in the current government and federal levels that, are kind of on an axis of their own. They aren't really aligned with the whole conservative idea that the Trump party, as people come to know it as. There's that fine line. Do you think that that's really what's caused a lot of this infighting for this primary?
You're talking about in Madison County?
In Madison County. Is it that same kind of idea where you're kind of having a breakaway and a little bit of infighting between the Republicans? Or in your opinion, are these folks even really Republicans or just Republicans, and I hate to say this, but in name only?
Oh, I don't use the term rhino often. I use the word uniparty.
Yeah,
because a lot of people say rhino. Because I think in Madison County there's a group of Democrats and Republicans who kind of hook up.
Okay,
to go
that's
after.
Fair. Yeah,
the real Republicans, I consider.
Yeah,
I hate saying that because there's not just if you're not part of the conservative caucus doesn't mean you're a real Republican. There's a lot of fine Republicans in this county who are part of our group, but there's a certain group of Republicans. Their voting record shows. There's 6 Republicans on the board who never vote with Kurt. Just guaranteed. Boom. No matter what he does. They've turned down all kinds of qualified people for appointments, like TJ Callahan, who you had earlier.
Yeah.
Very impressive guy. PhD, vice president of a big company. He's a mayor. We need a mayor on the MCT board. Didn't appoint him. Can you wrap your head around that?
No.
We turned down a guy to PhD for the same thing in MCT. Dwight K., 3-time state rep, CEO of Cassins, not qualified for the MCT board. Yeah, a few. I think 5 Republicans voted against him, and 6 Democrats, and 10 Republicans voted for him, and 1 Democrat did. So it was a deadlock. So we didn't get the tie. But I'm like, okay, you turned down a PhD.
Okay.
You turned down a former CEO and state rep. I mean, could Kurt bring back Lee Iacocca and Henry Ford from the grave and then not get on the MCT board either? I mean, what?
That's true.
It's we were into the territory of the absurd.
Yeah.
Because as a county board member, I'm going to vote on someone's resume.
Exactly.
Okay, you're in front of me because the thing is, certain officials go too far. They're like, okay, they turn into a prosecuting attorney against the person.
You're right.
Kurt appoints, and then they turn into a defense attorney without a lot of facts for the person. He's just trying to replace. It's an expired appointment. No one's getting removed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got so bad. There's a famous lawsuit. Randy Presswood's made a lawsuit against his old employer and 2 county board members.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not going to say anything that hasn't been in the paper, but I will say I'm not surprised it happened. I'm just surprised it took that long.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first government relations committee, the new board, they just really went after him. Representative Mike Babcock. This is all on audio, by the way. I'm not going to say anything here that can't be backed up on tape.
That's one thing.
He really started making reference to having his personnel records. One of Randy's political adversaries, no longer on the board, was in the crowd, sitting by a bunch of his appointed elected officials in countywide office. I wasn't at the meeting. I came towards the end of it because I had a committee meeting afterwards. I just thought things would run smooth and we were over to fight, and I didn't know it was going to turn into that. And he really went after him, and people are walking out disgusted. We changed the way we do appointments because of the conduct of this meeting.
Wow. And that's the thing, because the conduct, you're 100% right. I mean, even before I came over here to do the show here, I was in St. Louis at an AM station, and I mean, it was to a point where Madison County board meetings were on the local news all the time. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was just like, this is not the right way to make news.
Sure.
And it wasn't the right way to make news. That's just me.
And that was the start of it. And then, another county board member said she met with these employers and they completely trashed him too and said some things about him. She sat down on the board floor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, this is getting bad.
Yeah.
I tried to call the head of MESD like once, and that was it. I'm like, I'm not touching this situation. It's getting hot. The way they're talking about getting someone's work records, really going after somebody, I'm like, this isn't going to have a good ending. And then in the May meeting, we put Dwight up for the MCT board, and I wish there was audio of this meeting to look and anger on some of these people's faces. The audio is funny enough, but they wouldn't vote Dwight down. They said he kind of hurt their feelings. They used that word exactly. And there's other board members like, I know your feelings are hurt, but he's really qualified.
They hurt his feelings.
He hurt their feelings because he criticized how they conducted themselves in Randy's interview in a press release, which everybody in the building did. We changed the way we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't vote for him for that. And then Randy spoke at the meeting because he said I was attacked and bullied by board members. And then Mick Madison, this is on audio too, he made a reference to he said we received some information from the employer. And I think that was the last straw that broke.
Yeah.
So the lawsuit happened. Everybody knew it was going to happen. It's a shame it happened. One, it's just a shame that you would mistreat someone up for appointment like that, because as a county board member, like I said, I'm not a congressman. I have a little bit of power over this. When I got that microphone, I got the media. I can really make people feel bad and then kind of bully them, for lack of a better term. So
yeah.
And then there was really no pivot after that. They just kept going because Kurt kept trying to replace this person with somebody new, and they just wouldn't have it, man. It's like they declared war. They attacked me, they attacked John, they attacked Kurt. So it was just over a simple appointment. We're just trying to appoint somebody. We weren't trying to remove anybody or do anything awful. It's just your term's over.
Well, and how frustrating, because to me, I mean, it seems like you're all this infighting stalls growth and stalls things that you're able to achieve and try to work and make better. Is that kind of the notion too, that we're wasting time on all these board
wasting
meetings?
Tons of time. And the thing is, CJ, I don't know where a lot of these people stand on issues because it's never about that. It's never been about that with them, because it's just about personality. Well, this person. Well, Kurt appointed you, and this person's my friend. And so it's just, I don't know where they stand.
Yeah.
Like Mick Madison, we have conversations. I think in his heart, he's a good conservative. For whatever reason, at this point in his career, it's about getting rid of Kurt.
Yeah.
Blocking appointments for Kurt. So I just think there's a board members that got elected in 2020 and got appointed by Kurt, actually. Since they've got on, they've just dedicated their political career to going after him and his appointees. And it's not what they ran on. If they want to run on this to their voters, be like, we are Republicans, but we're going to vote just to block the chairman's agenda, and we're going to basically go after anybody he appoints or any board members that support him. There's Republicans who are used on and I'll show you after the meeting.
Yeah.
There's Republicans' hateful statements towards the chairman that were used on Democrat mailers last election cycle. Can you believe that?
That's pretty. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing for them. And I talked to him
yeah.
about it. I'm like, you're on a Democrat mailer. How does that make you feel?
And do you have a moment to stick around? I want to keep talking.
Sure.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. It's 10:42. Our conversation will keep going right after this on RiverBender.com.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey, Sherry. Talk to me, Dream Team.
We've got Joey.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a weekend warrior, gear up with Falcommit and elevate your hunting experience. From rugged gear for the seasoned hunter to adorable outfits for the little ones, we've got your whole family covered. Literally, because the best moments are made in the great outdoors. And with Falcommit, you're not just wearing gear, you're wearing the stories of your adventures. Discover the joy of hunting together. Visit FalCommit.com and outfit your family for the next generations of memories.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nicello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back, 1044, a little bit of change. President's Day on RiverBender.com. You know what what's amazing to me is there were still a lot of places open today. I thought, isn't this like the day we're all supposed to be closed and everyone gets the day off? You know?
Not anymore, man.
Wild.
There's less and less national holidays, man.
It's really sad. Honestly, I always like, having that time to reflect, and talk about some presidents.
The grind of the American workforce is pretty brutal. If you talk about how much we work compared to other countries,
it's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
100% terrible. As we're getting back to this conversation, there's a lot of really interesting components to the Madison County Republicans because, we talked, I like your term, the uniparty. I mean,
that's what it is.
Really appropriate, actually, and a lot better than Rhino. I like that a lot better.
Yeah, it's more original, huh?
It is more original.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit more about this conservative caucus a little bit more. And the reason I'm curious is, did the conservative caucus make an endorsement on the chairman's race, or are they staying out of it? How does that work?
Glad you brought that up. The chairman is not an official member of the conservative caucus. We are backing him.
Okay.
We like his policies. He's done great for the voters, not just conservative, all constituents of Madison County with his policies. We want to see him get another term. And I think we are the gold standard of conservatism in Madison County now. We check all the boxes and, we're for parents' rights, freedom of religion. We are pro-life. We're not going to go down the abortion rabbit hole. We could. That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, but we want the most efficient government for the people. No favors to your friends, no giving somebody a bid without, multiple bids, just, not hiring people based off who they know, but off skills and merit.
Mm-hmm.
When things get away from hiring people on merit, you go off the rails.
And now, if you don't mind me asking, we just had Chain Gang on. We were talking about the contract that went out for litter pickup. What are your thoughts on that one?
I've been talking to those guys a lot. We're going to it's Chris Ducliffe, our guy for zoning. He's done a great job trying to work with them. It's going to have to get to the point where there's going to have to be some kind of fines by a law enforcement body. As a county board, I can't write a fine.
Right.
Guys like Rusty, he's an intense guy. Guys like that make the community go around. He's really interested in this,
Now, the other question I had was about the contract that went for the mitigation or the cleanup.
Sure.
It went over to a St. Louis-based company. We had a local company. What are your thoughts on that? Even though the bid was cheaper, it was a $200
that stuff
cheaper.
you want to give it local, but it was cheaper. And,
$200.
And maybe they'll rebid and it'll be even better for next time. They'll start competing with each other.
That was just my question for you about that, because that is something that does a lot of people are interested in.
And that's
seems like
basic government. We need to fix that.
Yeah.
So Rusty and all them are right. And I don't mind taking a beating as a county board member for not stopping that. So they can come in. And
how
give it to
refreshing is it to hear that, though? Because, but honestly, whenever I do ask those questions on the show a lot, there's a deflection, and it's interesting and it's amazing.
It needs taken care of.
Really, that's really
something
incredible.
basic function of government.
Now, as we're getting back to the county chairman race, and just the county-wide races in general, you aren't a primary. You're in a safe zone, correct?
Well,
you aren't primary?
I imagine I'll get somebody slated with me.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
I know for a fact. Man, establishment Republicans even went to Democrats to try them to get against me as a Republican, and they just wouldn't do it. No Republican in the Collinsville want to run against me. Like, Paul's good, he votes good. You guys don't like him, but he's a good conservative.
Yeah,
and it's a shame too because it's all about because I'm connected to Kurt. It's not about my voting record saying I'm a bad conservative. No one's going to say that.
Now, how is the Republican? And this is where I'm having the hardest time. And I know the answer, but I just want a little bit more clearance on this. What are the principles that are different from the Republican Party than the Conservative Party? If you don't mind
I think, like I said, a lot of the rank and file Republicans, the precinct committee people, and a lot of their elected officials, they are good conservatives, but a lot of the power brokers and the top of the food chain in the mass Republican Party, they will work with Democrats and not just to beat us, and they won't focus on conservative issues that our voters care about.
Mm-hmm.
They just want the W's.
And another question I have, and that's what I wanted to know because
they'll use Democrats. They'll team up with Democrats to beat us. They don't even hide it. To get back to the chairman's race, once again, me and Chris's personal relationship, if he's in here, we'd be interacting good. But I just got a question. Why has he gotten thousands of dollars from Democrats donated to him? People are talking about donations, some questionable ones Kurt got. Well, why are thousands of dollars of Democrats? Why are 3 Democrat mayors in the county?
Mm-hmm. We're talking about the vendor list, correct? That came out the other day. Okay,
but he's got Democrats who support him. The one Democrat mayor threw him a fundraiser. So why do you have thousands of dollars of Democrats donating to you? I mean, we all have Democrat friends,
right?
We part ways ideologically. Right. My best friend in local government is a Democrat who serves. I went to high school with him. Great human being, but we just part ways ideologically. He's never donated any money to me.
Yeah, and that's a great question, and honestly, something that I'm sure Republican voters and especially Republicans in the county would be interested on as well.
Sure.
Is there a way to find that information?
Oh, you can look on you could probably. It's a Sunshine app. That's what I got for following people's donations, but you can look them up. You could Google it. It's information. No one's hiding anything.
Right, and that's what I wanted to
It's out in the open. I like that too, So.
Yeah, and that's one thing to point out. I mean, it's not hidden. It is out in the open to find. And how important is it? Because, Paul, and this is one thing that amazes me. There's so many people that weigh in on the county-wide races.
Sure.
But they have no idea how the county government operates.
No.
Is that something that you pick up a lot of the time? Because that's just me as an observer.
And the thing is, too, I was bad about that before I got involved locally. Everybody's transfixed on national politics, which is good. It's good to be informed.
Yeah.
They don't really realize what's going on locally, which has more impact.
Thank you.
Because honestly, I'm behind the 8 ball on national stuff to a point, like I used to be.
Right.
So when I go knocking doors, someone will tell me something I didn't know about, something national. I go, I'm focused on the county. It's kind of my job. Only so many hours in a day. I work full time, and
you segued this perfectly because to me, I think that, and this is my opinion, but it seems like in the county race, there's some points that have become national issues or issues that maybe we have experienced a little bit of, but we kind of nationalized them. And the way I look at it, and it could be for anything, whether it's immigration or any of those type of hot topic issues. How hard is it for you as a county board member? Because you're right, local issues are most important.
Right.
But I'm sure your constituents do want to hear about if there's a chance a national issue could impact you here locally.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Take me through that.
We have a board member, Mike Turner, put together a resolution about the migrant situation we're going to vote on Wednesday.
Okay.
Just kind of, to pump the brakes on it. I wish we could, but we can't absorb, hundreds, maybe thousands of migrants in Madison County who, don't have a place to stay, probably aren't fluent in the language. We'd see our schools, and we just don't have the resources here to absorb that.
Now,
I wish we did, but we just don't. I mean, no system can be overwhelmed by this.
Now, is this a preventative measure?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a preventative measure, and it's a tough call. No one wants to turn anybody, the poor from another country comes away, but we just cannot absorb
100%.
This kind of people.
But I just wanted to clarify that because I think some folks thought that this was currently a major crisis here, but this is a preventative measure, correct?
It's a preventative measure, and my thing is they're in Chicago. That's not far.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter, I think it's just going to happen sometime. We need a preventive measure like counties like Effingham have. Mm-hmm. Counties all around the state have put together this. So we're just following suit on what I think's a good idea. Maybe some people don't.
Yeah,
we'll vote on it. Yeah.
It's just curious to know because that's
Right.
what I wanted clarification if it was preventative and it makes sense. The other thing that you guys have that I think's really challenging is you have to realize that there are issues in local municipal governments that I'm sure you get calls on or some type of questions asked. How? What's the translation there? Because even though you're a county board member, your input, I'm sure, does have some weight if it involves your district.
Yeah, if I hear something, I'll call up, some city councilman from Collinsville. City manager Derek Jackson's really good, really smart guy. We have great leadership all around in Collinsville.
Yeah,
and Maryville too. I'm part of Maryville. I have 2 precincts there, so I definitely keep an eye on things there. That's another well-run city.
Yeah, it is, and I'm telling you. And here's
great
my
place
thought.
to live.
I just saw Revolution to open. That's going to be hopefully some good dollars into the local economy too. That's always look for impact there economically.
Look for business. Yeah, we did some good things downtown. Put the old Herald in. That's kind of revitalized the nightlife and the restaurant life downtown Collinsville. Mungo's just went in there.
Yeah,
great
I saw
Italian
that
restaurant.
Oh, I love it. I'm telling you what, makes my Italian blood happy, Paul.
Yeah, I'm half Italian. I don't look at you're like this guy. You know
what's
look
funny?
at that last name, you're like, look at this guy.
Well, you know what's funny is I was the only one in my family. My great-grandmother
Right.
was Northern Italian. My great-grandfather was Sicilian, so they had to leave town pretty quick, back in the day. And
the rivalry.
I'm the only one that has the pasty skin from the Northern Italians. Everyone else got the olive oil in the family.
You got the dark hair.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Paul, we've been talking for about 40 minutes,
Sure.
and I appreciate your time, but I'm running low on time.
Yeah, let's wrap. Can we talk about some of the primary races?
Let's talk about it.
Well, we got Mike Turner, like I told you about. He's running in Godfrey for a seat. Great man. This guy's a good kid. He's former Marine.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good family man. He's got a great record on the board. He's putting this migrant resolution together. That's probably the most important thing I'll vote on. He's just a great guy. You would think the Republican establishment would get behind him. They're not. They grabbed, someone who's a lifelong Democrat, and there's nothing against the woman personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when I heard she was running, I'm like, she's going to run against Mike as a Democrat. Okay, it's going to be a fairly close race. They're like, no, she's running as a Republican. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
I'm like, like I said, I welcome Democrats to become Republicans. Okay, you saw the light. I'll help you on your campaign if it's an open seat.
Right.
But why would you replace a great Republican with a good voting record with someone who's just recently decided to become a Republican? Not only that, but the Republican machine got behind her. So I'm like, huh.
That's interesting.
And everybody likes Mike. He's not, I'm more of the polarizing figures on the board. Mike's not. He's a nice guy, quiet guy.
Mm-hmm.
Works though. He's a worker.
Yeah.
He's behind the scenes working.
Well, and that's interesting that you say that. What are some of the other ones that you're interested in?
Well, Dwight Kay, they turned him down for the MCT board, and he's been following politics. He's like, I just want to get involved. The shenanigans that go on this board is just unreal. So he's running Skip Schmidt. He's not run again. Some health issues going on there. He's just going to kind of retire and enjoy his life, Skip's a great guy.
He had a great tenure.
Oh, yeah. Skip, he's been in local government for a long time. He's lived an interesting life. He played professional tennis. I mean, what a guy. So Dwight's going to run. He's running against Fred Schulte. Once again, Fred's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, how can you compete with Dwight's resume?
Right.
The guy's just knowledgeable. He's an asset anywhere he goes. Then Doug Matthews is running in Glen Carbon against Jason Palmero. I like Jason as a person. We get along good. We talk on the phone. We vote differently a lot. He voted not to put P-Tail on the ballot. I think with that vote, whether I was for P-Tail or not, I didn't come out and say, but I'm definitely for putting it on the ballot.
Right.
Because people are like, our voters sent us here to make those calls. I said, this is 34 pages. It's not hard, okay? This isn't complex like you guys are saying. I've read it front to cover.
Right.
They can vote on it.
Yeah.
And to take that out of there, it's not 3,400 pages. It's 34 pages, and they can most definitely read it. And I know a lot of the people I talk to have good intention. I know a lot of board members didn't read it. They were just against it because Kurt was. So, Jason voted against putting that on the ballot. And just some of his votes on appointments. He thinks you should keep people in if their appointment's expired. I don't know. That's the one thing I would say. I do like Jason. We'll talk about it as time goes on. I was just like, man, if someone's got a good resume, why wouldn't you just vote to appoint them? Is it keeping someone on in an expired appointment is just crazy to me. There's people whose appointment's been expired 2-3 years. They're still on. They're still getting paid. And I've been saying it a lot in meetings. I don't know if you listen. I'm like, you guys are kind of defaulting into lifetime appointments for your friends and some people.
That's true.
You just, all the qualified people you've turned down.
You're right.
It says it all. And if you want to do that, tell your constituents that. Don't run on what you're actually doing. Don't, like if you're a Republican, don't say you're some fiscal conservative. You're for, low government, and then you go, you go out and you vote for big spenders, and then you lifetime appointments.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Right.
And now, Paul, is there anything else that we're forgetting about right
I'm
now?
trying to think. I talked about my experience. Oh, Linda Wolf's run against Ryan Needler. She's a really impressive lady, too. She started a conservative women's coalition. She wanted to get involved. Ryan's seat's open. I said, Ryan, me and him get along really good. I sit by him. He's got a pretty good voting record, but I think Linda would be just a good voice. She's really popular, grassroots within the community. She would be for great conservative values. I think she's a great choice too.
Absolutely. And Paul, you're welcome back. Seriously, anytime,
Sure.
man. This is just getting going, and that door is always open for you. Anytime you want to come on and fill us in on anything going on.
Before
in
I go, I got to talk about Terry and Bob Coles.
Okay.
And Bob Coles, that's a very another impressive guy.
Yeah, one of the most respected men in Madison.
Oh, man,
County.
yeah. If you look at his resume, you're like, who's more qualified to be on the board than him?
Yeah.
So he's been paying attention to local government for a while. He's been seeing some things going on the board. He goes, man, these guys, they're not doing what their voters say.
Yeah.
Then Terry had some things to say about a lot of elected officials in South Roxana, and Bob's like, okay, I'm in this guy's district. I'm going to run. I'm going to do good things for the people. I'm not going to vote on personality. I'm not going to slander people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to, do good things for a community, because a lot of people, there's about 4 members of the board who get really, really aggressive, and they just go that extra mile on people.
Really?
I don't care if they do it to me. I know what I signed up for.
Right,
I remember what they
right.
did to me when I was appointed, but like when you do it to private citizens, like when Terry spoke out of turn about Bob and that, township, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You got to have all the facts, and it's recorded. It's out there, whether it's, he didn't even apologize.
Well,
so.
and too, we touched on that this morning with TJ's interview, a couple of moments of it, and you're 100% right. There was no founded claims.
No, it was
all.
terrible.
Yeah.
Just, you're speaking, you didn't know, you disparaged somebody, and I think it's within the institution, almost institutionalized that some of these elected officials, you can just go after somebody.
Yeah.
Just because Kurt appointed them, or maybe you don't like them, you can just go completely scorched earth.
Yeah.
On them, and that's not good. We're getting sued over it, and I thought maybe that would slow people down. Maybe it has a little, but I don't know.
We'll find out, Paul.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Man, thank you so much for hanging out with me
Yeah,
today.
thanks for having me on.
No
Appreciate
problem. We are out of time today. We'll come back more for our daily show tomorrow, live at 9. So on that note, enjoy your families. Enjoy a little bit of a warmer day in the 618, but most importantly, just try your best to stay out of jail.